What's up, DAW Nation? My name is Wyatt Troy, and I want to welcome you to episode 12 of Behind the DAW, where we interview music producers, artists, music industry experts, people of that nature, on an emotional, philosophical, artistic, and music business basis. This is a companion podcast to our YouTube series In the DAW, where we invite music producers to come and break down their songs in real time. If you are interested in that, there is a link down in the description. Really quick, before we get into who we are interviewing today, there are 3 links down in the description. First link is for the Patreon. If you want to make sure that we can keep bringing you these type of interviews forever, check out the Patreon. It's $1 a month, and plus you get access to a free Discord community. It's fantastic. Go ahead and check that out. Second link in the description is for suggestions. If you want to suggest someone to come on the show, link in the description. Go ahead and click on that. And then finally, the third link is for private lessons. If you want private lessons in electronic music production or in social media marketing, go ahead and click on that. So, who do we have today? Today, we have a good friend. His name is Lucas Rose. He goes by Clockvice. What are we going to be talking about? And why is this one of the most popular episodes on the podcast? And let me tell you why. We're going to be talking about, where does anxiety come from? Is it legitimate? Do we need it? We're going to talk about that. Stay tuned. Next thing we're going to talk about is, what is a fear-based decision and why should we avoid it? And are you making fear-based decisions right now in your career, in your life? And we're going to be talking about why you don't want everyone to like you in music. And that doesn't make sense quite a lot. Well, it will make sense because it's actually impossible. And if you try to, you're going to be completely wasting your time. So make sure to stay tuned for that. If you enjoy this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, repost, follow, whatever is appropriate on the particular platform that you are listening on, whether you're on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, Deezer, YouTube, wherever you're listening. It just helps us know that what we're doing is legitimate and that we're going in the right direction that you need us to go in to help you become the music producer, the artist, the musician that you need to be. And without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Clockvice. I just want to welcome everyone to episode 12 of Behind the DAW. Today we have Clockvice, who's also known as Lucas Rose. Lucas, how you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing all good.
Good, dude. How's Sweden? Is that where you're at?
Oh, yeah, it's Sweden. It's very cold.
Well, dude, welcome to the show. We're stoked to have you. I'm really excited. You mentioned quite a few things in the DAW interview that I feel like I would love to touch on in this, but first off, what we usually like to start off with is to get a little bit more information about you. Tell us about your musical journey. When did you get into music? Why'd you get into music? Kind of stuff like that.
Started getting into music, I don't know, when I was about 7 or 8, I think. Not making music myself, but listening to a lot of it. Just finding out about metal music.
Oh, really? You seem like a metal guy. That's funny.
Yeah, I definitely used to be. So, for up until I was 13 or 14, it was just straight up just metal, death metal, metalcore, stuff like that. Then I sort of started discovering hardstyle and stuff like that. So I had a bit of a phase with that. When I got into I think the English term for it is upper secondary school. When I got into that, I sort of started listening to house music, dubstep, sort of broadening the spectrum a bit. And then I just had the first listen to ESAM by Amon Tobin, on the experimental stuff. So I think I started making my own music when I was must have been 14, 15, somewhere along that.
So how old are you now?
22.
And so when you started making it, was it like the traditional garage band, free software kind of stuff? When
I started writing music, it was just I grabbed a bass from the local guitar store, started writing stuff on that. So it was just metal stuff still. Started making myself anyway.
Is it the same bass that's right next to you?
That's not mine actually, that's my girlfriend's.
Gotcha, never mind, keep going.
So I fiddled about with that for about a year or so, but then I started getting interested in making my own electronic music. So I illegally downloaded FL Studio like everybody else.
As we all did that.
Yeah, exactly. Just started fiddling about. No, wait, I just got the demo first, so I could never save anything I'd done. So I'd sit for just a few hours, export whatever I got, and that was the finished track. But then I did that. Then I got a torrented version, the full one, so I could actually save what I'd done, make more complex tracks, things that actually sound good. So I didn't really have an alias under that period. I was just making stuff.
Transitioning to your alias, where did the name Clockvice come from?
It was just sort of a stupid metaphor that I came up with when I was 15, 16.
Really? So you've had it that long?
Yeah.
Wow. Gotcha. Do you feel comfortable sharing what it's a metaphor for?
Yeah, it's just time is a vice. It's a burden, sort of. You just got to make the most of it.
Whoa, I never put those two together. Okay. Time is a vice. Okay, can you elaborate more on that? Because like I can see this going many ways, but that sounds really awesome.
Like there's never enough time for anything, I feel. Just a recurring thing for me. There's so many things that I want to do, but time just keeps getting in the way, you know what I mean?
Okay, now this is interesting. Okay, so let's talk about that. What are some things that you want to do, but time keeps getting in the way?
I mean, music's one of them, because deadlines always end up getting in the way for me. But I mean, that's sort of because there's always one more thing I want to do with the track. One more decibel of like 10k on the snare, or just one more bass and another fill, or just one more variation.
Outside of music, what are some things that you feel like time is stealing from you?
Making everything sort of fit together. Girlfriend, friends, work, music, other stuff that needs to be done, like cleaning your apartment, which I never do anyway.
I can see the pot on the table in the back. I can see not marijuana, but like an actual physical pot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. This is really, really interesting because I feel the exact same way where it's like I wake up, like many people, I'm awake average like 16 hours a day, right? I get like 8 hours of sleep. But I feel like no matter how much I really like crack down on like time management and stuff, there's just, I don't know if we're just like too ambitious and that's a good thing or a bad thing. But like, yeah, you're right. Like I could produce for hours and hours and get a bunch of stuff done for the multiplier channel and hang out with my daughter and my wife and go for a walk and like do all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, I'm like, I wish there was more. Why do you think we're like that?
Maybe we're just greedy.
This is interesting. Yeah, let's explore that idea. So maybe it is just a greed thing. Maybe we just want too much. Maybe we just need to be more content with what we do.
I think so, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I guess it makes sense because when my mom told me this. So my mom's a big family person. Like really big family person. Like she sacrificed everything for me and my sibling. And she would always tell me, I remember she would tell me like she had this opportunity to get a really well-paying job and she hated life. But she was making really, really good money. She never really got to see us. And I remember her grandma, so my great grandma, was telling her, and she's like, do you want a house or do you want a home? And I was like, whoa. Like when she told me that, it's like, whoa. And she's like, yeah, because a house is literally just like wood and carpet and paint, and that's it. Where a home is like you come and you feel at home, you feel comfortable. And I guess her grandma, my great grandma, was saying, guess what? If you worry more about the money than you do about your kids, and if you try and get more stuff done with your work than you do with your kids, guess what? You have a house. Is that what you want? Because if that's what you want, you're doing a great job. But if you want a home, you need to change some stuff.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Because it's a very hard thing to balance with like career and family and relations.
Have you been able to successfully balance that with you and your girlfriend?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because I don't work full time. I just work like 50%, which is to make time for music and stuff like that. Because I'm trying to make that mean my job as well.
Is your girlfriend pretty supportive about what you do?
Oh, yeah, she is, definitely. I mean, it's not her cup of tea, really. I mean, she's supportive of it anyway.
Are you like me? I'm assuming you're like me, where it's like at the end of the day, if I find out that like something cool happened in music, like if like a new like crazy new limiter came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is freaking dope. You know what I mean? Or like, oh man, I learned more about comb filtering today. Like this is super cool. And I like go talk to her and she just like has a smile. She's like, sure. Those are words, I bet.
No, yeah, exactly. No, like stuff like that. It's just I usually talk to like producer friends. Like Vorso is one of the closer like producer friends that I've got, even though I've never met him.
I love that about our age, dude.
If I've got like recognition from a big producer, whatever, something big's like being played on BBC, whatever, stuff like that, that's more sort of, I don't want to say easier to grasp.
Translates more to her language kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's more relatable for her. That sort of stuff I usually tell her, because then she can actually like understand and be happy for me as well.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. No, that's cool, man. She sounds like a really, really amazing person. You're very lucky. Very, very lucky.
I am. I'm very lucky.
So what about your family? Is your family very supportive about what you do?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not joking when I say that my mum is my biggest fan. Literally my biggest fan. No, yeah, because I was looking at the total amount of plays on your SoundCloud. And like number 2, I think, was Vorso, which is like 1,400 total plays of all the tracks. My mum was just like 2,000 something, like way above that.
Oh my gosh, dude. Like that's freaking amazing.
Oh yeah, she does. There's this track that I don't expect to change. She's listened to that like just below 1,000 times. And that's just on SoundCloud as well.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's freaking incredible. So this warms my heart, dude, because the power of the mom, man. The moms are incredible to keep pushing you and to keep and in such a good way, and to keep supporting you. And so it sounds like you and I have very similar mothers, and dude, like, that's so awesome. So going back to why you got into music, I mean, was it more so it just intrigued you and you wanted to make it? Was there some kind of emotional reason, like, you know, you were struggling with certain feelings and then music made you feel better? Or was it, why did you get into music personally?
I've always been a very emotional person. Like, I was the crybaby of my school. Anything, I just start crying a river. And then with like music, it's just always had such an impact on me emotionally as well. I could be in the best mood ever, but then I just put on like some Clint Mansell stuff, like the Fountain soundtrack gets me like really depressed every time, but in a good way, you know what I mean?
That certain sadness that you crave. I hear you, man.
I think I was intrigued by that and just sort of wanted to do it as well, affect people in that way.
From what you're telling me, one of your driving factors as to why you wanted to get into music is because you do have a lot of feelings. You do feel a lot. You have a lot of emotions, and music really, really helped you out. And so you, with that being said, you also have this internal drive to also help people that have struggled with the same things that you've struggled with, right? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know so much about like an internal drive, but I guess in a sense, yeah. I've never thought of my music as something that helps people. It's just been, I mean, mostly a thing of expressing and like conveying emotions. But if it helps someone, that's amazing.
What has been the hardest thing about getting into music and making it a career for you? What has been your biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome?
I think sort of the learning curve, not being too hard on myself as well.
Really? Are you really hard on yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very like self-critical with my tracks that I make.
Just out of curiosity, when you are self-critical, when you do struggle with that kind of stuff, what is some of your internal dialogue that's going on? Like, what are some of the thoughts that are going through your head?
It's sort of like, what are my fans expecting from me? Or do they want more like experimental music like I used to do, like the first few tracks that I've done? And how will they react if I release like a dubstep rhythm trap thing? Is that going to like put them off, or is it still going to sound like me? You know what I mean? Is it still going to have my sort of character to it? It's a lot of constantly second guessing a lot of decisions, like anything with mixing, songwriting, arrangement, everything.
So we hear this a lot, and I know you've heard this before, where it's like, you know, when you are making music, when you get into this type of profession, into this type of field, you need to basically make music for you. You're not supposed to make music for the fans, right? Well, I agree and I disagree. So I agree because those thoughts will destroy you. Oh man, they can tear you apart. They can keep you up at night. Like, they can keep you from doing what you need to get done. It's bad. But at the same time, when you do make music with the desire to help people, you have to think about that. There's no way that you can't think about that. That's why you do music, you know what I mean? And so if you have a desire not just to make a banger, but to make music where it's like it can really impact someone emotionally on a much deeper level than the club, then you have to think about that. And so I think that there is a legitimate room mentally that you can go into that's like, okay, I need to think about how my fans are going to react to this, because I want to convey my thoughts, my feelings, my whatever in such a proper way that it'll make sense, that it'll resonate with them. Something I wanted to pose to you. This is something I learned at Icon. Are you familiar with Icon?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Have you ever heard about the course that they offer? It's called Art of Flow.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you know much about it?
I think a bit, yeah.
Cool. So for those people who are listening who don't know about it, so what Art of Flow is it talks about really tapping into like the pure emotions of making music. Anyone who's made music before, even if it's just from a short amount of time, they know what we're talking about. It's this state that you get into where it's just like you just express yourself, and it's beautiful. Like it's just, I don't know, it's like some out of body experience when you're creating music. And so they're trying to basically in this class teach you how to do it as much as possible, like how to get into there as much as possible. And so what they mentioned in there that I've never realized that I struggled with is making fear-based decisions. And so fear-based decisions is exactly what you and I are talking about right now. So for example, a fear-based decision which will keep you from entering this flow state is something like this. Let's say that, you know, Lucas is up one night, he's making a song, you know, he's really, really feeling it. And then you go to grab, let's say, another snare sample. And then the thought that comes into your mind is, this is so 2013. At that point, you are no longer in flow, because flow is what you feel, right? If you pick that snare sample up and you're just like, not feeling it, that's okay. If you pick it up and you're like, no, I feel like this is what I need right now, that's okay too. What's not okay is when we pick up that snare sample and it's like, how will they react to this? Because at that point, you're making a fear-based decision. You're scared about what people will think of you.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, I mean, and obviously that translates to everything. What key should I write in? What type of song should I make? Who should I have sing on this song? Should I use Massive or Serum? At the end of the day, literally, if you think about it, everything's subjective. You can use Massive or Serum. You can make house or dubstep. You can, you know what I mean? You can use Logic or Ableton. When push comes to shove, it really doesn't matter. What really matters is what you feel and if you're staying true to yourself. Because we're in an artistic endeavor. We're trying to create things. We're trying to express our feelings musically. We are literally creating an auditory version of our soul. And so when we start bringing these fear-based decisions in, guess what? It doesn't work for some reason. It's because it's fear.
Yeah, definitely. It's just I never thought about it that way because I make a lot of those decisions, just like I mentioned, like trying to pander to the fan base that I got and the fan base that I'm trying to grow. You know what I mean? Doing things that have felt right to me. You know what I mean? Like this is what I want to do with a track, but sort of altering and modifying it in a way that I think everybody else will be happy with as well. But I never really thought about that way, that I should just like crack on with whatever I want to do.
To think about it like this as well, and I talked about this in the previous episode with A5, but do you know the 1,000 true fans model, like or the theory behind that?
Yeah, I do. I'm familiar with it.
Perfect. For those listening who don't know what that is, basically, just a very, very brief explanation of it is all you need to be successful in the music industry is you need to have 1,000 super fans. And a super fan is someone who is defined as someone that will spend $100 on you per year. And if you make that, then you make $100,000 a year after taxes, somewhere around 70 to 80%, depending on how much taxes you have to pay, which is a really, 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 really good living. My basically philosophy that I would pose to you is there is a lot of people in the world, man, and you want your fans to be comprised of people who love your music for the sake of loving your music. You don't want your fans to be the people who are just following trends.
Definitely, yeah.
My thing to you is the way to weed those people out so that you do just have the super fans is to more or less limit or completely stop making those fear-based decisions, because you'll notice, at least this is my theory, you know, from people I've talked to and from what I've seen personally, as you stop making those fear-based decisions and you're just like, I'm just going to feel, I just want to feel, you know, like I don't care if people really will like this or not. I mean, you know, to some extent you have to think about that. You know what I mean? If you include a Hitler sample into your song, people probably won't like that and you probably shouldn't do that.
No, yeah, exactly.
But for the most part, it's more like, you know what, I'm just going to make what I feel. I want to make what I want. My theory of what would happen is that, yes, you would lose fans, but the true fans would shine through. And as the fans that don't necessarily want that, like want when you're making will go away, the other ones will come that will fill their spot, that will they'll actually be better fans than the ones that left. I mean, is this making sense? I mean, do you agree, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like the sort of fallacy that I can see is that like music is an industry. So it's dependent on like the big pins, depending on agencies and getting bookings and a few of the right people liking your music and booking you and getting you onto labels or, you know, stuff like labels wanting to get stuff from you. It's definitely true, but there are some things, like in some ways you almost need to pander, depending on how far you want to go or which places you want to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree, dude. You bring up a really good point that we as musicians, we want to create. But at the same time, we also have this need, and the need is that we need to make money. We have to in order to live. And so now we enter this realm of, do I make the music for the money? Do I make it to resonate with my soul? Do I do both? You know what I mean?
Exactly. You sort of need to balance the whole art side of it with supply and demand.
Exactly. Completely and utterly. Exactly. But you bring up a really good concept is that, like, at the end of the day, yeah, you got to do something to make money. And there are going to probably be decisions in your music career that maybe artistically aren't the best, but financially they are. And at the time, you're going to have to do that, because I'm sorry, at the end of the day, if I don't want to perform at X festival, but my kids don't have diapers and food, guess what? I'm going to get over my high horse and go perform at X festival so that my kids have stuff to survive. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. My kid's life is more important than my music. 100%.
I think it's like you sort of just have to find the balance that works for you. If your passion is like very mainstream music, then hit the jackpot sort of, because then you can do exactly what you want to do and still make loads of money on it. But when you are like a very experimental producer, like very underground, it's a bit harder to find that balance, I think, because then there's no easy way to do it unless you have like a very, very like dedicated fan base, which is the whole 1,000 fans thing.
as with many other artists and people that I've talked about in our industry, this is concerning to you. There will be nights when you are kept up because of this subject between money and art and artistry. This is a serious concept. This is not something you can brush underneath the rug and it'll just work itself out. So I want to present something to you. And so we talked about this in the AU5 podcast, where it's like, basically a lot of artists, including myself, and I'm sure you and basically everyone that's ever been on this podcast, something that we've struggled with is the internal voice inside of our head saying, we're not good enough to be in this industry. There's not room for us. We're never going to make it because there's 13 other people that are basically way better than me, which is funny because usually I say there's people in Sweden who are going to beat us out. They're willing to put in twice as much work as the Americans are. So let's talk about this statistically. Recently, I was at a place where there was a lot of music producers. This person that was talking to the music producers said basically that statistically, you're probably not going to make it. It was the most unmotivating thing I've ever heard in my life. Not only is it unmotivating and is it sad, it's statistically wrong. I'm sorry to say, but statistically, that's bullcrap. Here's the reason why. Lucas, literally, if every single person on the earth, so 7.5 billion people, all right, that is a lot of people. If 7.5 billion people wanted to get into the music industry, guess what? There'd be plenty of room because everything ratios out. You noticed how many people were in the music industry back in the Roman times. Not nearly as many people as there is now, but they were still doing it. And back, you look at the 1970s, there wasn't nearly as many people as there was now, but they were still doing it. There was still like the dropout rate and the failure rate was still relatively the same. The fact of the matter is that however many people get into the music industry, it'll just ratio out. Record labels will go up, plugin companies will go up, concerts will go up, festivals will go up, everything will go up. Everything just ratios out. There's more than plenty of room for everybody. The problem is people love to use the term oversaturated. The industry is oversaturated. I don't think it's oversaturated. I just feel like there's a lot of amateurs personally. I don't feel like there's too many people. I feel like there's too many people who don't know what they're doing, basically. You know what I mean? There's plenty of room for them. They just need to know what they're doing. Here's my statistic to back that up. Do you know how many super fans a person can have?
No.
So like, for example, I mean, you as Clockvice, I mean, who are some of the people that you are super fans to? Like, is AU5 one? Is Said the Sky one? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a tough one. I guess like my biggest inspirations, like people like Skrillex, Noisia.
Okay, so we got two right off the bat, right? I would say that too. So two of mine are Skrillex, A Day to Remember. I love A Day to Remember. Said the Sky, Millennium. I mean, I'm biased with Said the Sky because he's my cousin, but
I had no idea.
Yeah. But like, you know, like basically like we can name people right off the top that, you know, like if we had the funds, yeah, I would give them $100 a year. Heck yes. You know, and I love those guys. So basically from the people that I've talked to, the average amount of super fans that a person can have is around 7. You can have 7 super fans.
Whoa.
It's crazy. And like comfortably, you can comfortably have 7 super fans, right? 750000000 times 7. So I don't know if you can see that, but what it says is it's 52.5 billion. That's how much room we have in the music industry before we can consider having a problem. Literally, the entire earth would have to be into the music industry and then times 7. That's when we need to start being concerned. All right. There is more than plenty of room. We also did the math where it's like, you know, if you only have to convince 1,000 people in the world, anywhere in the world, to love your music, what kind of percent is that? Well, 1,000 people out of 7.5 billion is 1/100 of a millionth of a percent. You see what I'm saying? So actually, to say that there's not enough room for people in the industry in any facet, whether it's country, whether it's electronic music, whether it's metal, whether it's whatever you want, is false. It's completely false. It's bullcrap. You know, there is plenty, like more than plenty, more room than we can ever fathom. So that's what I want to present to you. Dude, you can make it. Without a shadow of a doubt, you can make it. You're more likely to make it than you're not by a long shot. So the internal battle, I just want you to know the internal battle that you have going on inside of you right now, where it's like, can I make it? Am I going to make it one day? The answer is yes. The answer is completely yes, because the only people that don't make it in this industry, literally, ask anybody, literally the only people who don't make it are the ones who stop. That's it. Literally, that's it, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've never thought about it that way before. Yeah, that's a good thing to think about for guys like me. Just that, like, fear-based decisions are just meaningless.
How often are you faced with those fear-based decisions?
When it comes to music, like every day, every hour, several times an hour, just every other minute sort of thing.
Wow. I mean, like emotionally, is that just draining?
Yeah, it sort of is because it puts a sort of stress on you to make the music good enough, to make it loud enough, to make the mix good enough, to make the track relatable for your audience. And
I mean, with that being said, I mean, are you depressed quite frequently from having these types of thoughts?
I mean, not depressed from that, I wouldn't say, but it takes an emotional toll in a way. It's not just about that, because then you start thinking about, exactly like you were saying, like, am I going to make a career out of this? Am I going to be able to survive doing this? Because it's like the one thing that I want to do with my life is make a living out of music. So all of that bundled together, yeah, that does depress you a bit.
Going back to like the original question, what was the hardest thing? What are some of the amazing things that you've went through? What's the other side where like, this is why I've gotten into music, like this is incredible?
I think some of the like good things have been like getting recognized by some of your favorite artists, like Coldplay. When he followed me on SoundCloud, I was just like flying around the room. Same with like Mr. Bill and Pegboard Nerds. You know, I was just having a bit of a regular all day, just going on SoundCloud, checking notifications, and then just see like Pegboard Nerds is now following me. I was just flew out of the chair. I was jumping around the room. That was huge. And I mean, stuff like that is wonderful. And then like seeing your tracks being played out on big stages, like being picked up by management as well was very inspiring, because then it feels, because I mean, I've been doing this for a few years already, but sort of been trudging along, not really. I mean, I've been getting places, but it's going very slow. So getting picked up by management makes it feel like I'm actually going places, like making serious moves.
Is it true that the other day that I saw that Deadmau5 was playing your song?
Well, yeah, he was playing the collab that I've done with Mr. Bill.
That's still your song. That's pretty freaking huge, man.
Oh yeah, I was just when I saw that. Deadmau5 is him as well is one of the absolute biggest inspirations as well. Like, it still sort of doesn't feel real, because I just saw it like on the screen. It's like, no, it's just fake. Yeah, because it's like, I don't think I'd even believe it if I saw it in real life. And those are like some things that I can share with my girlfriend as well.
Yeah, which makes it even better. Let's say within the next 5 years or so, right? You're able to achieve your goals, as you know, your personal goals that you want to see or that you want to achieve. I mean, what would those goals look like? I mean, do you want to play main stage? Do you know what I mean? What are some of your favorite things that you want to accomplish?
I don't want to stress every decision that I make, because not just in music, actually, like life in general. I just don't want to have to stress things all the time, constantly be worried about something.
Because I mean, I would be mind blown if music was the only thing that you stressed out about. You know, I'm sure it translates to what am I going to eat today, or how am I going to pay this bill, or, you know, what am I going to get so and so for their birthday, or anything like that. Am I right? Is it? Yeah,
it's literally everything, actually. I mean, it's even like small conversations with just random people. Yeah, I'm like, it's sort of just the way I am. I constantly analyze everything, like body language. Why did they do that thing? Why did they move that way? So yeah, so it's a bit.
I think this is important to note. So, because I feel like maybe I can't give you all the answers that you want today, but maybe I can set you on a path to be able to go and find those answers yourself. So a couple months ago, Trevor and I, said this guy and I, we were in LA together. So he was telling me, this was the day that we found out we were cousins, I guess. We never knew. It's just, you know, like we have the same last name. We live a state apart. It's like, okay, come on, you know? And we're both into the same music. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so like we were talking and I was asking him, I was like, so, cause he was playing in LA that weekend. I'm like, so are you scared? And he's like, yeah. Like I'm way scared. I'm like, really? Because you're playing like festivals, you're doing all kinds of stuff. Like, why would this scare you? And he's like, I get scared every time before I perform. Every single time, you know, I feel like I'm gonna puke, you know, like all that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's really, really interesting. And so I asked him, I was like, do you know where that comes from? Like on a chemical, physical level, do you know where that comes from? He's like, no, I have no idea. And I was like, so instead of our minds, we have what's called the prefrontal cortex. Like literally on our brain, it's called the prefrontal cortex. And inside the prefrontal cortex, it sits right here. It's called the amygdala. The amygdala was it's still useful, but it was extremely useful for our ancestors. You know what I mean? So like, let's say that me and Lucas, we meet up, we high five, like, what's up? Let's go hunting. And all of a sudden a tiger comes out and we don't have any more arrows. The amygdala inside of us will say, you need to get out of there right now or you will die. I'm sorry, but you will die. You know, it's also called the fight or flight response, right? It's trying to protect your life, right? And in some instances, it's really, 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 really useful. If you're swimming and all of a sudden there's a shark, it's going to be like, get out, And you'd be like, all right, and you're going to get out and it'll save you. Problem is that the day and age that we live in now, our amygdalas are not needed as much as they were for our ancestors, right? We don't really need to worry about tigers. We don't really need to worry about vipers coming and just like slithering across our yard and potentially killing us and our kids.
Unless you're Australian.
Yeah, unless you're Australian. The entire country is trying to kill you.
Like it just,
We live in an age now where the amygdala isn't needed as much, but the it's still there. And there definitely is times when it's trying to protect you, but it's not needed as much now. And so now it's creating problems for us. Perfect example. Let's say there's someone you want to go talk to. Let's say there's someone in the music industry. You're at this conference. You want to go talk to that person. All of a sudden you're flooded with all this anxiety and you're sweating. You're worried about what you're going to say. Your heart rate starts going up. That's the amygdala saying, oh my gosh, this is life threatening. If you go and talk to him and you mess up, you could die. You know what I mean? It starts freaking out. Well, that's not true. You know what I mean? Like literally the worst thing that could happen walking over there is he turns you down and you're not going to die. You're going to be fine and you can keep going on. You know what I mean? And so we have overactive amygdalas now, and it's a biological thing, and it's very, very common in people who are very intelligent and who analyze a lot. That's why I thought it was interesting to say that you said, because analyzing things a lot is a part of, increased intelligence. And so
yeah, I was just sat here thinking like, yeah, that's me. I must have like the biggest amygdala in all of the world.
But what I also said to Trevor about this is that like the amygdala in for all intents and purposes is a muscle, is what it is. The more we use it, the stronger it gets. The less we use it, the weaker it gets, basically. It takes time. It's, like me presenting this knowledge to you, you're not going to go overcome everything in the next hour. I found this out years ago, and I'm just barely getting to the point where I can like fully like mostly control my amygdala. The thing is with this, and sometimes people have to have antidepressants, sometimes people have to go to counseling to really like get over their problems to be able to control their amygdala. But I just want you to know that there is hope. Like you don't have to live with this. What you're struggling with right now, it can be overcome. It can. It takes time. It's just like a broken leg. It can be overcome. You just have to, be aware that it's there, take proper precautions, and then eventually build your strength back up.
Yeah, that's definitely resonating. It's really interesting stuff. Because I mean, anything really that you feel is just chemicals and reactions in your body sort of thing. But yeah, that's a really interesting thing, because I think I'm extremely afraid of conflict, which is something that I've been noticing a lot lately with work and stuff. Like if a customer starts getting just a little bit ticked off, like I just go in defense mode straight away, and that happens very easily. Like, so I think I sort of know why in a way now, like to an extent. I know there's not something wrong with me, but there's something that I can do about it. Sort of.
That's awesome for you, dude. And I know that as you do that, I mean, you're already making incredible music, and I feel like this is, you're what's called the icing on the cake kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like the icing on that, I just feel like for you, because your music is amazing. You're a genuine dude, right? You're very intelligent. All you need, dude, if you can figure out a way to, over time, what's comfortable to you, to basically figure out how to handle this, I feel like you could literally be a force of nature in the music industry. I do. I honestly, I don't see why you wouldn't be. I've talked to a lot of people. I mean like a lot of people, Lucas. So I know that you have these traits to be able to go as far as you want to. Perfect, dude. So I have one final question for you. A question that we ask everyone who comes on the show. And the question is this, let's say that you go throughout your life and you achieve everything that you want to. You've lived a successful life. You've been able to overcome everything that you wanted to and achieve everything that you wanted to. And now the time has come where your life is ending and you're sick. I don't know, something's going on, and you're on your deathbed and you're surrounded by, and I haven't asked this before, but I'm going to ask two different questions. So number one question is that like you're on your deathbed, you look back on your life, and all you can really focus on your entire life is the one thing that you are most proud of. What do you think that one thing where you are just like so proud, like, yes, I freaking did this? Like, what do you think that one thing is?
I mean, having lived through my whole life, there's a lot more stuff that I've done other than music. Like when it comes down to it, like music is just a hobby. You know what I mean? It's just an interest that I'm pursuing. Sort of like what I'd be most proud of when it comes to it is sort of hopefully having made a family, having raised children, having raised them to be good people, having had like a good effect on people's lives in general, like not just having kids and stuff, but like with friends, and knowing that I've hopefully like helped people, contributed.
Literally the best answer. As a father, as a husband, I can testify. I've made a lot of music and I've made a family. The family is far beyond music, dude.
Yeah, because it's just a much more meaningful thing. It's like music is just music at the end of the day, which is also one of those things that has had me sort of second guessing my career choice, because it's like, what am I contributing to the world? It's just a bunch of sound waves. when it comes down to it. But yeah, it's not even about that, is it? It's just what people make of it.
Exactly. So basically you have like these big cornerstones in your life, or like these big milestones. You get married, you have kids, you graduate from college, you know, something, you know, like things that you're really, really proud of. Music not only enhances those moments, makes those moments better, but music also helps all the time in between. I feel like music is very, 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 very important to being happy and contributing to a very well and successful life. I mean, you take out music, all of a sudden, maybe it just takes out that icing on the cake, so to say, of the major events of your life. You know what I mean? Or all the time in between them. So I think you're doing a good thing by doing music and helping people enhance their lives with it personally.
Yeah, because it's like you see somebody who's like, oh, he's been volunteering in Africa, like helping out blind and deaf children and stuff like that. And then you think like, oh yeah, I'm just sat here, you know, in front of the computer like every other day, just making music. The thing is, like, if we didn't have like movies, games, music, stuff like that, like art, entertainment stuff overall, I'm not saying that it's the same as like helping children in Africa, you know, I mean, definitely not. That's a much bigger cause. But I mean, it's just, I guess you're contributing to life in a much more implicit way.
With your answer that you had, it was a perfect answer because it leads to my next question, right? So my next question is this. It's same scenario, right? You're in your deathbed and you thought back on your life and you said, you know, like the thing I'm most proud about is my family. So let's say, you know, we're moments away from Lucas leaving this life, and you look over and you see your firstborn daughter, and you love your daughter. You know, she's there. Dad, I'll be with you till the end, kind of a thing. I love you more than anything. And you want to give her one piece of advice before you're gone, and whether that's a word, a phrase, a concept, anything. What would be that piece of advice that you would give to her?
I think don't let other people's opinions hold you back.
That's perfect.
Because I mean, for me, that's something that gets in the way all the time, and I think that's where my fear of conflict comes from as well. Yeah, because it's like the thought of someone having a negative opinion of me, that thought just, I hate it. But it's something like you're not going to get through life anyway, and everybody's just going to love you. Let's say that you're the best you can be every day, like the maximum potential of being a good person that you can be. Like, there's always going to be somebody that is going to meet you at the wrong time, at the wrong place, or just like not even the wrong place, the wrong place, the wrong time. Just somebody that isn't going to like you for some reason, and that's just the way it is. Like you said before, there are 7.5 billion people in the world. Not all of them are going to like you.
Statistically impossible.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like the most important thing is trying to be the best person that you can be and being happy with yourself. Just sticking to your ideals.
This has been fantastic, man. Is there, besides that, which was freaking amazing, is there any last final words that you'd like to say to the producers, the community that's listening to this right now?
I think like one thought that I had lately is, like I said, my music career so far has been moving quite slowly. I've not done the Martin Garrix thing, you know, release animals and then I'm just a celebrity out of nowhere. But I think like if I'd ever get to that point where I'm like making loads of money and being like actually like very influential, whatever, that sort of thing, I think I'd appreciate it more if I got there in 20 years than if I got there in like 20 weeks, 20 hours. So you know what I mean? Because when you do something that big, like right away, you're not going to be able to appreciate it and fully grasp it anyway. So that's just one big step, and then you're there. Like, what's next? But the thing is, like, when you have these like continuous small milestones, you're continuously getting something that's gonna like cheer you up or motivate you to go even further. It's just like you're gonna get loads more moments where you're gonna be happy about what you're doing.
Oh my gosh! Like I can't even begin to describe how much I agree with that. That's so cool, dude. Thank you so much for coming on the show and being open and honest about everything, dude. We really, really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun. It's been a good talk.
Hey, DAW Nation. Hope you enjoyed episode 12 of Behind the DAW with Clockvice. Hope you learned a lot. Hopefully you can accept those truths that you don't need anxiety, that you shouldn't be making fear-based decisions, and that you do not need everyone to like you to have a thriving music career. Again, if you like this episode, please comment, like, follow, repost, whatever is appropriate on the particular platform that you're listening on, whether it's Spotify, Google Play, Deezer, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever you're at, just helps us know that what we're doing is legitimate. Remember those 3 links down in the description for the Patreon, for artist suggestions, and for private lessons. And then finally, I would highly encourage you to check out the next episode of Behind the Dots. The episode right after this, it is episode 12.5. It is with Clockvice. It is him breaking down the song that is playing right now and what played in the intro of the song. It is his remix of Free Fall that he did for AU5. It's probably the best remix that I have heard in a very, very long time. It's absolutely gorgeous. So please check that out. Next episode right after that. And Daw Nation, I want you to have a fantastic day. All right? Take care.